Hello brothers and sisters, thank you for coming back to watch our videos and to listen to our sentiments. Today we are going to talk about one country that is the biggest producer of gold in Africa. Imagine being the biggest producer of gold in Africa. That is one. Biggest producer of cocoa in Africa. And they also have oil deposits. And still, people are suffering. What do you have to say about Gold Coast, that is Ghana?
So, from the 21st of September to the 23rd of September, Ghana had protests. So they dubbed the protest Occupy Julobu House. Julobi House, yeah? Julobi House.
Julobi House is the state house.
State house.
Like the president's house.
Yeah. So Ghanaians have been protesting because of the high cost of living. So they want political and economic reforms. Yeah. So life in Ghana has been tough, as most of the protesters were saying in some of these interviews that we're seeing in this international media, that it has become very difficult to live in Ghana.
Yeah.
High cost of living, things have become so expensive, you cannot even imagine, life for a normal citizen.
Inflation in Ghana is very high. And if you are spending like $5 in the last 2 years, today you are spending $10 to buy the same things, And when Akufo-Addo became president in 2017, he really worked hard on Ghana. And we saw he's the guy who introduced the Year of Return 2019.
Yes,
Our brothers and
Americans.
sisters in the US started coming back home to invest in Ghana.
Yeah, we saw a huge influx.
Yeah, there was we envied Ghana. And the economy grew. Actually, a lot happened because at then I think inflation was like 15%. It came to about 7%. So he really, really worked. Just last year, inflation was about 50%. That is massive.
Yeah.
Massive. And they're also talking about, because Ghana depends highly on importing those electricals, and electronics from China and the West. So the demand for, and some other items, so demand for the dollar is high. Meaning, CD against the dollar, it goes, CD goes, dollar goes. So it's a lot.
Yeah, so the government claims that they have really been trying to restore the economy wherever it was, like you are saying, but the people are not seeing that on the ground.
Yeah.
So all they are crying for, like as the youth activist said, is water. They just want to have water, food and clothes, and to be able to support their parents, their mothers and fathers. So that is just basic needs. You can imagine if people are crying for the basic needs. It's not even for the luxury, it's not even for something extreme, just food, water and clothing. That is when you see that it's really, really bad. If people cannot afford those basics. So
it's a lot.
Yeah, it's too much for the Ghanaians. So we saw police retaliating to this with violence. So when the protest started, it was very peaceful. And police came in, violence, they arrested like 50 protesters, including journalists, people are being beaten up. And you wonder what happens in our government. We elect you guys
to serve us.
Then you come back, you become our masters, you're the bosses, you use force against us. In fact, they were saying we are tired of being the what do they call it, vote box, something like that. So
you're only voting, but you are not important.
Exactly. So your role is to vote for me. Once I get there, nothing,
I forget about it.
You don't matter anymore.
Yeah, but I think the mistake that happened, because as I said, Nana Akufo-Addo tried between 2017 and 2019. He tried. Then came COVID, and in 2017 when he came in, he removed some taxes. Like there was some value-added tax on domestic flights and some other items. He removed those taxes. He introduced free education. So with all that, the government income reduced. So instead, he would depend rather on the taxes, but he mainly depended on debts. And that's why you can see a lot. They actually until now, they just had a deal with IMF to get $3 billion.
And Ghana is at the top.
that is now Ghana becomes the top data in Africa for IMF. And you know, IMF interest is high for Africa. They talked about that in the UN General Assembly. Yeah, it's high for Africa, and so it becomes a debt trap that they will never be able to do. And it comes with a lot of conditions. Like you know, Ghana's been wanting to start producing locally 50% of its cocoa produce. The president said it should be produced locally. You might be hearing the IMF say now you won't do that.
Yeah, and we have seen the 10% on the gold.
Yeah, gold. They are the biggest producers of gold in Africa, but they only get 10%. They need to close these gaps, and this can be their source of revenue. But it's gonna be something else for Ghana.
Yeah. Even investors are starting to get scared. Yeah, we are seeing a lot of investors washing their hands and leaving.
I don't know what our brothers and sisters from US would be doing, because Ghana was good.
So we don't know, guys, how is living in Ghana, how is life in Ghana for a normal Ghanaian? Is it affordable? You know, some people cry, oh, we can't afford, yet others
big cars
are living,
on the road.
You know, yet
if you're from Ghana, let us know.
We would love to know what is really happening.
Know you are fellow brothers and sisters. Let us know how it's all going. So that we can educate more people on it, and probably we can avoid such in other African countries. Don't forget to comment,
like the video, subscribe. We shall see you in the next one.
Bye bye.